For the general public, it's different. The general public, when they have text, they look at it and it's just words. They're reading it. That's it. When an actor gets the text, you have to look at it and you have to start thinking for yourself, what is the story that I'm trying to tell? What is the story of the world that I'm in? And I think that's the most important thing that an actor has to get down when it comes to the text, is realizing that you are a contributing factor to telling a story. And a lot of the times, the thing that I see is actors getting their lines, they're memorizing it, and typically they speak the lines better than just a random person on the street, which is good. But the thing that ends up happening is actors on the stage or even on screen can sometimes get to a place of being self-centered. And they get to that place and then they're thinking, well, I want to be really noticed in this scene, so I'm going to go and be a bigger actor in here. I'm going to make sure that I am seen and noticed in this scene. And what ends up happening is you maybe start drawing the attention away from the other characters in the scene. And the problem with that is that that might not be what the story is about. So let's go ahead and make up a scenario right now just so you can understand this point a little bit more. Let's say, for example, there's gonna be this movie with a mom, a dad, and a kid. Okay, 3 people, very easy. But in this particular moment of the scene, we have the kid feeling neglected, feeling like the kid is not seen by his parents at all. So now that's the kid, that's what's happening in this particular scene of the movie. Maybe we're 50 minutes in. The scene is about this kid. This scene helps tell the bigger story for this movie. This scene for the story should be mainly focused on the child. But now, let's say, for example, the mom in this scene decides and says, you know what, this is my first movie that I've ever done. I really want to be noticed. Oh my God, I'm going to go and try and outact the child in this scene. The problem is, you then, the actress, start taking attention away from the kid. And you have to remember, when you're on the screen, especially with 3 people, the attention is going to be directed at 1, 2, or 3. And depending on how you're acting in that scene, you can help the other actors. So if the mom instead doesn't try to outshine the child, and rather lets the child have that moment in the scene, it ends up helping tell the story better. And by this child, for example, feeling the neglect that he feels from his parents, and we get that and we solidify that in this moment of the scene. All of a sudden, when we go 4 scenes in the future, and then the mom does this extraordinary thing where now she's going to go and be with the child, and she chooses to say the child over work, or same with the father, all of a sudden now that has more impact because we let it land with the child's story. So as you can see, when it comes to movie making is all about storytelling. Stories, stories, stories. Let me give you a great example with this. Many of you have probably been on a plane before, and many of you have had to deal with a child on the plane crying their heart out. And then you're sitting on the plane and you're going, oh my God, how long is this going to go on for? I hope this doesn't go on for the entirety of the flight. We've all been there, it's all happened, and that's what we're thinking when we're sitting there. And maybe the kid is upset because the kid wants a lollipop, but they didn't get a lollipop, but they wanted a donut this morning, they didn't get a donut, and they're crying. When we're sitting there in the chair, we're gonna go, ugh, can this kid just be quiet and just stop crying? That's what we're gonna be thinking, most of us. But now, let's change the story around a little bit. Let's say, for example, the kid still cries the exact same way. We're all still sitting in the plane, same seats, everything's the same. But instead of the kid crying because he didn't get a donut for breakfast, he's crying because his mom just passed away. All of a sudden, when that kid is crying on the plane and we're sitting there, the kid is still crying just like before, but now we're feeling bad for that kid. We're going, dang, this kid lost his mom. Yeah, go ahead, cry your heart out, cry as much as you need. That's a hard situation to be in. But you have to realize that now we feel bad for that kid, whereas before we didn't. What changed? The story. The story is what changed. The kid, if the kid was, for example, acting, the acting stayed exactly the same, but the story changed. And then all of a sudden we started to now feel for that actor or that child. It's also like if we're watching this video here with me right here, how I'm engaged with you, my body language, how I'm talking, this is telling a certain story. It's showing that I'm engaged and I want to speak with all of you. But now let's say we change it up, and instead of me being like this, I'm sitting back here like this, looking off to the side, and I don't even really acknowledge the camera all that much. Well, then what story does this tell? You see, there's a lot of different ways for us as actors to tell stories. Many different ways, many different versions. There's 1,000 ways to be happy. There's 1,000 different ways to be sad. There's 1,000 different ways to be angry. But the thing that you have to realize at the end of the day when it comes to text, it's not just something that you get to memorize. It's something that you get that turns into a roadmap for a story that you're trying to tell. So as an actor, anytime you get a script, when you're looking at it, remember and ask yourself, what story am I trying to tell? What is the story of this scene? You don't always have to try and overshadow everybody each scene. Sometimes it's better for you to be the smaller actor in that scene and let somebody else shine, because it's going to help you shine 2 scenes later. But if you're trying to overshadow everybody, it doesn't work. So remember, as the actor, anytime you get a script, it's not just something you have to look at the lines and memorize it. Not at all. The first thing you should do when you get that script, when you look at it, is ask yourself before you even start reading it, what story is trying to be told? And how can I, the actor, assist in effectively and efficiently helping tell that story? So that's my bit of advice for you today when it comes to the script and for the actors to go and try and memorize it. Becoming a good actor, there's so many different things that you have to pay attention to, but the script is one of the first things that you're going to get in your hand. So this is what you have to remember when it comes to working on your scripts. I hope you liked this video. Make sure you subscribe so you stay up to date with everything, and I'll see you all later. Peace.